Hi everyone, and welcome to the channel. It appears that the weather predictions were wrong after all. So we're back to our natural habitat here. I've been thinking for a while, looking at the state of things when it comes down to the world and everything that's happening all over the place, all over the world, right? And I think part of the main root of a lot of these problems and issues that exist today, not to single any of them. It doesn't matter. I'm not here to list issues and things. That's not what I do, right? Um, but we're all aware of all the problems that exist today that shouldn't even be a thing anymore, but they still linger. They still exist because some of some of these evil and negative forces that exist throughout the world, they don't go down without a fight. And the reason why I think there are still so many problems is because the world it's become so polarized in such a way that there's almost no middle ground anymore. It's almost like non-existent. And when that kind of stuff happens, we have a problem. It's like you have one group of people that is one side of the spectrum, another group of people that's on another side of the spectrum, people refusing to listen to each other, have a, I'm trying to think of the word, but it's basically having a conversation, um, you know, having a normal conversation with another person, even if you differ in opinions, right? Without people getting triggered. It's like, what happened to the respect part of side of things, where it's okay to disagree. We're all entitled to our own opinion on whatever it is that we may have an opinion on. And we should be able to talk about issues or debate issues, or maybe you have a friend that, they have a different point of view when it comes down to certain things. I'm not going to talk about politics here, okay? Because that's out of the picture. And everyone should know by now that, that's not a good thing to talk about, especially with friends and people that you care about. If they have certain views on certain things, just don't talk about it. Don't bring it up. Otherwise, you might be in for a fight. That's all. But what I'm trying to say is that, I don't know what happened to civil discourse and being able to have a conversation about whatever without people getting offended, getting triggered, getting, having a mental breakdown, all these things that you see all the time now. It happens so much. It's hilarious to me. People record themselves sometimes in some kind of social media, and then when things like that go viral, even though I don't usually see that kind of stuff on my feed, but every once in a while some stuff like that will pop and I'll look at it and I'll just laugh and shake my head at it because what happened? Like what happened? Having mental breakdowns over absurd and silly and ridiculous things won't help you in any way, shape, or form anyway. So I don't even know why you're wasting your energy on things like that. But I think, like I said, I think part of the reason why there are so many issues and problems in the world right now is that it's become so polarized. People, society, it's everything is polarized now. And the people in power and the people in control, they are laughing their butts off as they watch this all go down. because it's going exactly according to their plan, because that's what they want. They want people to remain, to be divided. They want this hate and division to continue to be a thing as long as they can perpetuate it for as long as it can go, because this is how they win and this is how we lose. People realize the amount of power that they have by by acting together as a union to get things changed all over the place. Because yeah, it's true, one person alone, a small group of people alone, they won't be able to do much. But if you get numbers and enough numbers and make yourself heard, trust me, that would be major change happening everywhere when it comes down to a lot of things. So if people really want to see, a lot of this degeneracy and crimes that have been happening for God knows how long, all over the place, all over the world, with people in positions of power, control, and all these things, all the stuff that happens, right? If you guys really want to see that stuff, you know, end and people become getting accountable for the things that they have done, they continue to do, all people have to do is get together and demand accountability from their governments and all these things, right? But as long as people keep saying it's nothing is going to happen, nothing is going to change, it's going to keep on going, and because you just gave up, you don't want to fight for what's right, and I'm not advocating for violence in any way, shape, or form, but I think that you don't need violence to make these changes happen. You just need enough people to care, to begin to do what needs to be done, what's right, and demand that these people act and justice is served properly. That is all. These systems were created originally and put in place um, to do what's right. Like originally, way back in the day, that was the whole reason why these things were created, to have some sort of order in society, right? And my opinion on that, it's it might be very unusual to say the least, but I don't believe we need any of these systems in place. I believe that once upon a time when humanity was spiritually evolved, before the degeneracy begun, we all knew what was right, what was wrong, and we didn't need any of these systems in place because it wasn't necessary at all. People understood, and there, accountability existed, and groups of people, tribes, and things like that. They were governed by a council of elders and stuff like that, and it was all done with the wisest people made certain decisions when it came down to things like that. But once these structures were designed, built, and put into place, the world changed dramatically in so many ways. And now we've gotten to this point where it feels so hopeless, right? When you look at things. But it's not hopeless. It's just that people just gave up on fighting the good fight the right way without violence. You don't need violence. I talked about this many times before. It's all about no compliance and demanding accountability, and like I said, people don't realize the power that they have when they get together to get things done. There have been so many cases throughout history when this has proven to be the case. Did you know that during World War II there was a specific Christmas, I can't remember which year it was, where where the war stopped and the soldiers were all like, I think it was on a Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, they were all celebrating, dancing together and stuff, and you know, and for that one day or that specific moment, they decided not to play the game that their governments were playing, and they're like, no, this is not it. Do you see the power and stuff like that? This is something that very few people know about it, and this is not the type of stuff that everybody's going to be, taught about in school rooms and stuff like that, because it's not good for the power structure, right? To teach these lessons and to talk about the kindness in humans' hearts and the good things that it come out of it when people decide to get together to do things. And that is all there is. So I think this polarizing is just has gone too far, and it needs to stop, and people need to begin to see things as they truly are. And I actually believe that that's happening right now more than ever. Um, it's starting to look good in a lot of ways, and to me, when I see things and how some things are happening now and how people seem to be getting tired of seeing all these things happen and nothing ever getting done, and people are beginning to see things as they truly are. People are beginning to see. Don't be fooled. I know we're still quite a ways from getting to where a lot of people would like it to be, but this is better than nothing, right? And some people are beginning to see things, and this is a good thing. Tomorrow there's going to be this extremely rare astrological alignment, and if you guys don't know anything about astrology, you go feel free to go watch some of my other videos where I talk some of these things. I don't know the titles. Just go look at my videos where you know astrology and how important these things are. These luminaries in the sky affect us in so many ways, and apparently this thing we've begun feeling the effects of it since yesterday, but it's not gonna really getting to gonna become a real thing until tomorrow and the day after. And this is something that it happens every 36 years or so, but the way it's happening now because of the positionings and things, it's based on even some software programs that do these things now. The last time this happened, there are some claims that it was like 6 to 9,000 years ago. So this is a big deal, and I find it interesting, that this is happening right now as I speak. And I don't know if you guys saw the news about Prince Andrew being arrested. And look, I'm not saying that anything is going to happen here, okay? I don't know about that. But I think that's extremely interesting, to say the least, that as these things are happening in the sky, this guy was arrested out of nowhere, all of a sudden like that. It. I'm telling you, there are some forces at play here that we don't quite fully understand, and they play their role in this universe and on us. It's really fascinating, to say the least. And I'm gonna leave it at that, guys. So yeah, this alignment is happening, and it's a rare thing, and I think it's gonna change a lot of people in a lot of ways. And I don't see this as a lot of people do, as it's like some miraculous thing that's gonna make everybody wake up out of nowhere. And because these things don't happen like that, that's just not how it works. That's that's not how spirituality works and awakening works. You know, if a person is deep as lumber and they refuse to see things because they just want to continue living their lives being asleep, no, nothing that happens in the skies with the luminaries and the planets and all these things is going to change that person. Trust me, that doesn't work like that. But those of us that are beginning to see things and are becoming to realign with this, aspects of ourselves, this will affect a lot of people, and that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. Yeah, feel free to go look that up if that's a topic that interests you. It piques my interest, and I like to talk about these things from time to time because things that happen in the sky have a very deep meaning for us down here, as above, so below, right? And the ancients knew this. That's why they were so fascinating with stars and positioning of stars and how they built certain structures and erect buildings and things based upon these things, because they knew how powerful these events were and how it affected humanity as a whole. So I think there's good things happening, my friends. And this video is getting long, so I'm gonna cut it here. Um, so with that said, if you like the channel, if you like what I say, if it resonates with you, don't forget to click the like button, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And be safe. Stay well. And I will catch you all on the next one. Until next time, my friends. Later.